Where's your rules and regulations? Pass it around again.
What was on that?
It's right there, underneath the recorder.
Oh, is it under the recorder?
And I can talk to you, you just can't talk to me.
You can't listen.
Just don't listen. All right, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consider for approval of minutes and agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve the minutes and agenda. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. It is 9 a.m. We have Allison Mason, RSVP, to give annual report and a fundraising request. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. Again, my name's Allison Mason. I'm the Director of Volunteer Services at NIAC. With me today is Patty Hansen, our Dean of Continuing Education. The big news and the great news I want to share about RSVP is that we feel like we are back up and running in big ways after a couple hard years with the pandemic. So far this year, 6 countywide, we have 420 volunteers serving 407 students in 98 classrooms across 16 school districts. So what that looks like here in Winnebago County, we're in 3 school districts serving 111 students, 14 classrooms, and 37 volunteers. So a big key to being back at where we are was sort of shifting our message last year to really increase the flexibility and the transparency that we had both between classrooms and with our volunteers. So we tried to be as receptive as possible to what the school districts needed, whether they were ready to start last year right away in August or whether they felt like January was a better fit for them. And we offered sort of those same accommodations to our volunteers as well, because while school districts overwhelmingly were ready to get going because the student need has only increased, some of our volunteers, depending on who they're caring for at home or some of their own health issues, they said, well, I might be comfortable one day a week, but what's it going to look like? And so just being really transparent and sharing that information with them has been the key to rebuilding and making the program a success. 2 highlights that I'd like to share is that 80% of students who participated last school year improved their reading and literacy scores. And then the stat that I like the best is 83% of students self-reported that they felt more confident and positive about reading in general. So whether or not they hit every target, I feel like it's a huge success that when they come into the school every day, they're feeling more confident and more passionate about what they're doing and feeling like they can be successful. So your funding is critical to continuing to serve even more students. As I shared, teachers have only expressed that the need has grown. So we are trying to meet them in every way with adding more classrooms, adding more volunteers. Last year, over 12 months, we onboarded 58 total volunteers, and already this year in 6 months, we've onboarded 54. So we feel like we're working our best to meet that need. So with that, we respectfully request $8,000 from Winnebago County for fiscal year 24. I do know that should you vote in favor of that opinion, we have a new MOU to draft for you guys, but we'll do that pending your decision. So are there any questions that you all have for me?
Other than the school systems, where do you place
Multiple
volunteers?
nonprofit agencies. We have volunteers active with Catholic Charities, with Habitat for Humanity, with Food Bank of Iowa, the American Red Cross, Cerro Gordo Public Health, and Cerro Gordo Disaster Management are big ones, and we're also working to expand to other counties that are open to having volunteers serve in those ways, which is a great thing because while even a lot of our volunteers might have been in the school systems, it's person to person what their personality is and what their passion is. And maybe they've served 20 years in a school district and they say, we're ready to go and do something different now with our retirement. So having those options available to them is a big piece of what we do.
So in the disaster management part of it, what volunteers do?
Volunteers are trained to do kind of the phone banking. So, and it's multi-level. Some are trained way more intensively to be able to take a message directly to the chief of police or the fire marshal or whatever. And others are just kind of, they'll give them a rundown of where the resources are and where to go to get X, Y, Z. And so volunteers can kind of choose and be trained to what they are comfortable doing in that scenario.
I feel like RSVP does a lot of good in our schools for sure.
Appreciate it.
What have we offered in the past? What have we given before?
It's 8,000 was
Always been 8.
I thought the interesting statistics was the value of the volunteer hour, 2640. It's really gone up.
Well, I think a big piece of that is the training that they receive and the care that we give them to make sure that they feel equipped to do a good job, because we don't want to send them in blind. That's not going to make them feel successful, and then it's not successful for the agency or the school district that they're serving. So making sure that they're contributing is a big piece of it.
Yeah, I know lots of kids that have reading buddies.
You know, my wife teaches up at Glenville, Minnesota. She has to observe, but she would just help kids. They don't have it.
Well, it's a really nice, I didn't fully understand at first, but it really does fill that gap where students who have intensive literacy needs already qualify for extended services and support. But these are the ones that are sort of on that bubble that teachers are like, if I just had somebody to meet with you one-on-one for, and that's what they've said too, that volunteers get worried about, well, I have grandchildren to care for, I have a bus trip planned, and teachers overwhelmingly have been like, come for the hours that you can come, and it will make an impact, because more and more, regardless of somebody's home environment, schedules are busy, and one-on-one time reading is
You get
not
more
happening the way that it used to be.
fewer hours, and
Yeah.
there's no burnout.
So that's been a good partnership.
So I think that's great, that we have the 37 volunteers that help in Winnebago County, but can you tell me what are the, specific other areas, like I was asking earlier, does Winnebago County have some of your volunteers in any other than education?
Yes, I know specifically they serve in American Red Cross, and with our NIAC scholarship reading program, they've participated in that because it can be completely from home. They just log in and do that. I'd be happy to send you detailed
Yeah, it's just
hours and
fun to know,
Yep. Mhm. We would be happy to, if nonprofits were on board and wanted us to be here, we're happy to accommodate that as well. So far that I've been in my role less than a year, but as we seek to learn the needs of each community. It's not hard to put something in place and put out a call for volunteers to kind of diversify what they're being involved in. So.
And if emergency management, that department would be interested, we would definitely be willing to talk and.
I think that'd be great.
I serve on the regional emergency management board. I know Mason City's always been ahead of everybody in that area. So
Well, and that's an easy one too, because they do the training periodically throughout the year, but then it's not every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10. Like, granted, you have to be ready when needed, but it's a lot more flexible for people who might have busier schedules.
Any questions for them?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Anyone like to make a motion?
there's no actionable
There's
item.
no
It's just
action?
a budget thing we look
Oh.
at.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
the
Have a good rest of your
information.
month.
You too. Have a good Christmas.
So does it, I should have asked this one in there, does it have, it's only for nonprofit that they help, right? I mean, only nonprofit.
Yeah, it's probably all we're allowed to, either government or
Right.
nonprofit.
Right. You and I were having a conversation one time about could they help in the courthouse? You know? Just because I get trouble all the time, and I'm like, oh, maybe we should use these people for extra help, you know? Okay, it is 9:10. Mary Lou, Veterans Affairs, to discuss quarterly reports. Good morning.
Oops, sorry about that, Carl. Okay. So, somehow. I didn't have both of these there, so let me just give you both of those. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the grace that you gave me the last time. You said it was more important to service my veterans than to get back here with quarterly reports. So these go back from April to June and then July to September. And rather than read word for word for you, I thought I would just summarize, the second and third reports. So comparing the second and third with the first, there has been a very consistent number of phone calls. They're falling within about a 300 to 320 range per quarter. The number of office visits is also staying very consistent, 60, 70, and 56. 56 was during the summer and things tend to get a little quieter there. The number of forms that I've completed and submitted to the VA for services and benefits has gone up very substantially. April to June it was 99, and then in July to September it was 148. And I think that speaks definitely to the fact that I had basic training in March, basic benefits training, and then I've received new CVSO training both in April and September. And so I think the more knowledge I've gained, the more I've known what claims to file, what forms needed to be filed, and whatnot. So that has gone up. There's been a consistent increase in the claims that are pending, whether it be pension or compensation. And I am now sending what's called IDVA notification letters, and those are letters that are being sent to people that have been placed either in care facilities in Winnebago County or assisted living, and that's to let them know whether it's the veteran themselves or their widow that they could potentially qualify for either pension or survivor's pension. So I now know what I'm doing with that. So those letters are being completed monthly. And at the end of the third quarter, there were 36 more records in retrospect than there were on January 1st. So Again, that's indicating that more veterans have been coming to my office to receive services. By far, the biggest accomplishment in the second and third quarter was that I received my national accreditation after finishing basic benefits training. I was then cross-accredited with Disabled American Veterans, American Legion, and the VFW, all by the end of September. Each of those organizations has a different accreditation process, so that's why they kind of came in at different times. And then finally, at the end of August, I got that PIV card, which was my security clearance. And I just want to report that it has been an absolute game changer for me in my office. I'm able to go in and search the veteran. I'm able to see exactly what issues they've been rated on, what they've been denied on, and then I can look at, do we need to do an increase? Do we need to now file for that denial and see if we can get it approved this time around? I'm able to look at their service treatment records, past documentation, and it's just been super helpful, especially because veterans come in and they get kind of confused sometimes about like what they have been approved for or what they were denied on. So that has been an absolute blessing to my office. I've done a lot of training. I've done spring and fall school. I've gone to 2 new VSO trainings, and the one in the spring was 2.5 days, and that was with other VSOs statewide. And that was really helpful because it was all kind of asking a lot of questions of one another and as well as our trainers. And then we had a District 5 training as well, and that's very helpful because it's our area, and again, sharing resources, sharing ideas. Then, of course, that Barney's death occurred in July. That was probably the hardest thing my office has gone through in the past year, and we began the search for a new commissioner. And then the other big event was the HBI approval process, and then the designation of Winnebago County and the city of Forest City as home base Iowa city county. So that's also brought in some really positive exposure to my office. I've continued with KIOW ads as well as pursuing other opportunities to get exposure for my office. And I've also partnered with local businesses to better serve my office. I'm working with Forest City Granite Works with grave markers, and then also with Buffalo Center Bison Graphics in producing promotional items, and then MJ Embroidery to do apparel for me to wear when I go out into the community. And finally, the amount of money that comes in to Winnebago County from veterans compensation and pension has steadily increased. It was around $246,000 the first quarter. The second quarter was $252,000. At the end of that quarter, that would be the average monthly. And then third quarter was, at the end of September, was almost $257,000. So that's almost an $11,000 increase between the 3 quarters. So that's a real positive for Winnebago County. And those numbers are going to keep increasing. I'm in the process probably of about 45 either compensation claims or pensions right now. And so some of those are into the VA, and we're just waiting on approval, hopeful that those will be new compensation ratings or increases. And then the same thing with the pensions. We're filing pensions for survivors, and then I also have what's called a death and indemnity compensation. And if that is approved, and it should be, that brings in about $1,500 a month to that widow. So that's because it's a service-connected death. So there should be, I'm anticipating those numbers to go up considerably in 2023. A lot of that depends upon the VA and how fast they're processing things. Maybe, I didn't include this, but the PACT Act was signed into law by President Biden on August 10th. And there's already been, I believe, 146,000 claims submitted for hypertension alone from Vietnam veterans because they've been waiting 40 years to have that approved. Yes. And then they've also increased the number of presumptive medical conditions for burn pit exposure. And I'm beginning to see more of that in my office with the Gulf War veterans. So I'm in the process right now of going through old cases and filing for the hypertension because, like I said, I have a number of Vietnam veterans that were never compensated for that because the VA has denied it for 40 years. So they're supposed to be hiring a bunch of new claim workers because honestly, the claims are going to explode. They're going to start processing January 1st, all the PACT Act claims, but we're turning them in right now so that we can kind of get in that lineup.
Now, do you have any involvement with anything with the Camp Lejeune thing?
I just got I've had 2 Camp Lejeune inquiries. The first was wanting to know about the lawsuit, and we've been instructed by the VA that we cannot give legal advice. What we can say is that it will be a very lengthy process, that they need to find an attorney that is familiar with tort law, and they need to understand that that attorney will probably take 30 to 40% of the compensation that they may or may not receive. It just received another Camp
They need
Lejeune.
it for older payments.
Pardon me?
They need it for older payments.
They do. This is gonna drag on and on and on though.
You're talking about the lawyer phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 to 5 years is what they're estimating will be before there's a decision. And then I just got my first Camp Lejeune case where I have a veteran who was stationed there and has a number of medical conditions. He does not have any of the presumptives of Camp Lejeune. However, we're gonna work to see if we can still connect his medical conditions, because he was there for over a year dealing with that contaminated water. So,
How about how's the Iowa Veteran Trust Fund running out of money gonna affect you?
well, I've already had a couple calls of people that really did need help. And
And is that for this fiscal year then?
the letter that I have, and I'd be happy to provide it to all of you, is that it's being investigated, that why they have insufficient funds, and that it's not an easily remedied situation, that it's not a matter of just putting more funds in there. They have to first investigate why it happened. So the letter came from the governor's office, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be resolved very quickly. But yes, it is impacting my office because I had,
That goes through July 1st then?
yes, for right now, yeah, that's where the fiscal year, yeah, July 1st to June 30th. So I have had 2 calls, and the one was a elderly wife of a veteran. She called me, I think, 3 or 4 times, thinking I would be able to change my answer. Her husband needed dental work, and he's not 100% service connected, and that's the only way you can get the VA to pay for dental work. And that would be something we could go through the Veterans Trust Fund for, but he needed it done like right now. So I would have had to do an emergency request, but that would have been a possibility. But finally, the 4th time, I just said, I'm so sorry, but I cannot offer you any assistance. And she's like, well, this is terrible. They are veterans. They deserve some support. And I said, I don't disagree with you, but there is, my hands are tied because of the Veterans Trust Fund issue. So yes, I am seeing some impact there. Any other questions that I can answer for anybody?
Thanks for the report.
Yep, you're very welcome. If you have any questions after reviewing things, feel free to contact me.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Scott, secondary roads.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, we don't have too much going on right now. Luckily this morning, yeah, things are just warm enough to not be freezing, so. We're standing by. We did plow a little bit last week, of course, when we got 6 inches of snow and plowed gravels and blacktops that day. Went pretty fast and the guys went home early.
I noticed there was inconsistencies on how it was plowed
In our county or from one county to the next?
in our county. I noticed I drove on 80th west of Thompson, and it seems like they left probably at least that much snow on the road going into this rain. That's going to turn into a mess. I know the graders were all out yesterday, kind of scraping it off a little more, but I don't know if they got to that one or not.
When did you see it?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
And
warming up a little to where it was just soft and taking you.
Yeah,
I had, one guy call me that he said that plowed it all,
was it the Murrah?
yes,
Yeah, we had actually missed that one somehow,
okay.
so that was our mistake. We were out there before he actually called that morning, but
I told him that it would be an easy one to miss because it's just one
yeah,
mile going to the east, there's no, or to the west and nothing going through to the east, so it's just one little stub mile. I guess if they haven't been out there at all, they may have just forgot it.
yeah,
And I would guess that they would probably get it, like I talked to him Saturday morning, he says they probably have it done Monday.
yeah, and it was done right away Monday morning, but yeah, no excuse for it. We just missed it.
Did he call you?
Yeah, he called that morning. He wasn't very happy about it, but I wouldn't be either. I mean, we had, I think, all 6 inches of snow, and when you drive through that all day, that's,
He used to have just a car,
yeah, and that'd be even worse.
but now he does have a four-wheel drive pickup, so he probably made it.
So are they putting down liquid on these or not, or?
Not
what's
us.
going on?
We're, I think, getting stingier and stingier with our salt usage. Because it is, once you put any down, you pretty well have to stick with it all the way through the storm for this reason that it sticks, especially when we have 40 or 50 mile an hour winds in the forecast. So we'll be holding off on material unless, we get calm weather for a few days and it's just kind of the right situation. Otherwise, we keep it to intersections and curves. And I've been keeping it to a minimum. In the last 2 years, we've had good weather, light winters, but we've also not used hardly any salt. I don't think it's costed us any issues, if we're managing the roads as well as we did.
That stuff does probably literally hundreds of millions of dollars worth of damage and rust to equipment, vehicles. I have sometimes wonder whether it's really worth it, I guess.
Yeah, the argument always involves, somebody getting in an accident, so it's just hard to have a,
Yeah, now if you
Measure
save one
that.
life, is it worth it?
yeah.
I guess maybe.
I don't think so.
Anybody call you about any level leads or anything like that? Or-
I don't think so. I think the only snow-related call we've gotten is the one from Jeff Murrah
Okay.
yesterday. We had, level Bs we don't plow in the winter,
Yeah.
but I guess I did have a message from one gentleman in Mountain Valley. I can't remember his name offhand, but I told him to write a letter so that we could have a discussion about a level B road, and he hasn't let me know when he could be here or anything like that, so I haven't brought it up. Can't remember his name either, but he bought an acreage, and then he had 2 properties that were separated by a level B road, so he wanted to be able to use them in the winter.
Okay.
Other than that, hadn't got any cost.
So are they making gravel right now?
Yeah, I don't know if they are today. Yesterday they were, and he said today they'd probably have a late start if anything, but since the roads were nicey, maybe they're going. They probably had maybe 12,000 ton in the pile yesterday, and we're working on, I don't know, we've had them change the top size screen, and we've been looking at the material they're bringing out of the pit, and it's kind of it's a very interesting process trying to, only control you have is what goes into the machine and then the top size that goes through the screens, The rest of it is just, you get what you get. So we have to make good decisions with those 2 things. And we started with 1.5" top screen, and we switched to 1.125". Or I should say, we started with 1 inch, then went to 1.5", then 1.125". And I think right now we're making the best stuff of the pile so far. And as they keep digging, the layers of gravel and sand and everything just go like this as they pull it out of the pit. So it's really
So you're trying to make it so it's both as usable as possible, what's coming out of it and the
And then you want a
refuse.
consistent product.
yeah, ideally consistent. When you're making gravel, that's really hard to do. So, you mix it into the truck that hauls it to the top, and then it gets mixed a little bit by the payloader that's putting it in the hopper, and then it gets mixed a little bit as it goes up to the pile, and then when we load it out, we work the entire face of the pile trying to mix it up again. So by that time, you hope you get a pretty uniform product. I think the pile we have there is solid. I think there was only one day that we had kind of too sandy where it didn't meet the spec, but the average is still looking positive.
Does this area look as good as what we were doing before that? Or?
The pit part of it, you mean? Right now they're working on a ledge that's only maybe 10, 12 foot deep, whereas some of the pit out there is maybe 25. So ideally we'd have 25 foot deep everywhere, but that's just not the case. I mean, right now they're digging maybe 4 foot of sand off the top and topsoil a little bit, maybe 5 foot, and then they're digging maybe 10 foot of gravel. And under that is kind of a clay layer that comes and goes a little bit, and it dips and dives, and right now it's going deeper, so.
But really, for you, it doesn't really matter so much there. It's because you just buy so much volume.
That's true. We're the county has an interest in getting the most amount of material out of there as well. I mean, I do care 40 years from now what's left in that pit. And the more marginal material we can pull out to mix with the gravel and still get proper gradation, the better.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Mhm.
We're going to move on to our 9:30 public hearing for DD 49 and DD 97, landowners to discuss with possible action a resolution for tile agreement.
Yes.
And I'll
Do we
make
need-
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Thank you.
I'll start it.
We have a motion by Derby, seconded by Jensvold to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Can you call us 7511, please?
7 what?
7511.
I'll learn it. Hey, Chris, we're ready for you. Thanks.
You got a couple weeks.
Well, then she'll get a couple of years off to think about it.
Now she'll be
And then she can be the one to sit here reminding us.
I'll be helping you. I'll be sitting there.
Which committee is next again?
Bill,
Finally, we'll get
Some semblance of
Yeah.
order.
yeah,
I have to remember to change the name on my resolutions now.
yeah.
Well,
I don't know, must not be every county that rotates the same way as us.
Some of them elected. Some have there's a couple that have the same guy all the time.
Yeah.
Which is the way it should be. I'd like to be a maniacal little dictator too.
Oh, we were worried that I was gonna be the chair the first year I was on.
She was
Thankfully,
scheduled to be there.
I was scheduled to
Yeah.
be here, but Mr. Protocol, no, what do you call it?
What?
What do you call the real, what it really
Robert
is?
Rules of Order.
There we go, thank you. Good morning. How are you? Good. So, first, we've opened the public hearing for DD 49 and DD 97 to discuss possible action on resolution of tile agreement.
Okay. Well, it really has nothing to do with me, so I just sent out letters. I believe, Adam, you have talked to everybody and have you done some work? I'm not,
We just wanted you here.
okay, good.
And you have
You're
the,
next
you have the
anyway.
form.
I have the clipboard.
Today's a public hearing for anybody to draw objections or file any damages, and to my knowledge, that hasn't happened.
I've heard nothing.
Nope.
Same here. So there's a resolution to, do you have that with you?
Mm-hmm.
Just read it. Try to get it right. That's a resolution to approve the application from LaFleurs for the tile crossing under 842 here just west of town. If it's approved, we will have the secondary road department install a tile crossing and connect the two tiles that already exist. Ethan has had some preliminary conversations with Hollins about it, and they're interested in doing the work. So as soon as this is approved, we'll get a quote with them, and if it looks okay, we'll get them scheduled for the spring. First thing, our guys will dig the pits and do the connections, and Hollins would do the pouring. So pretty straightforward.
And you guys have already signed all of this, or is this signed today?
The resolution gets signed by the chair and Carla today, Susan and
This is
Carla.
all private tile too, isn't it?
As far as I know, yeah.
We discussed we're not going to do anything as far as reclassifying any districts. It's just very minimal. The outlying districts, it's not really gonna change anything for them.
Yeah, well,
Those
it's all.
districts.
I'm not gonna mention too that since it went through this formal process, secondary road department will pay for the 100% of the crossing.
You get the boring and everything, right?
Right.
You'll have less costs on the road repairs.
We're board, yeah.
Well,
Close it first.
yeah, we gotta close it, see the actions, but usually that's on the next,
Yeah, it should be, but
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
A motion by Jensvold and seconded by Derby to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye.
Then I'll make a motion to accept the resolution for tile agreement on DD 49 and DD 97.
I'll second.
can you approve it, not accept it, please?
To approve it?
Yes, please.
I said the wrong thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I will second that part.
You would second it again. The proper
So we,
verbiage.
we have a motion to approve
Thank you.
the resolution for tile agreement by Jensvold and seconded by Derby. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. You just have one copy of this?
I guess so. I'll have to
Yeah, I didn't.
make you a copy, but have to have it recorded too. Maybe I'll make copies after the recording.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thanks, we'll let you know.
Thanks, Cal.
Any other discussion at all on that, or we'll just be moving on to auditor's office, we'll discuss drainage matters.
How convenient.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
How convenient.
Even better.
Mm,
Any drainage guys? Oh, I do have, I do have.
Then, that way everything you have, that's what we're sorting
Yeah.
information.
Take the trees out of there on DD 11,
Jay Pettigord
J headquarters.
out of Bondurant.
I do have some questions about beavers and beaver dams and that kind of stuff, so there's actually a few around some of our farms that I know that a gentleman is trapping, and he's brought some tails in. Is there there are so few guys that do that
Mhm.
anymore. Is there any way that we can start the discussion about raising the bounty on those? No. Can't do it, huh?
I think $50 is
That's a really lot of work.
I,
plenty, isn't it? No?
No, not for what it costs to take a beaver dam out when they're,
Yeah, but they're not the ones taking the beaver dam out.
Yeah, that's a drainage thing.
And we can't do any action like that without AJ being here.
oh.
Because the last time we increased it, it was national news.
They're just the ones taking out they're just the ones chopping the beavers. They're not taking out the dams.
Right, but if they're not there to maintain, if the beavers are gone and not there to maintain the dams and rebuild them, what happens is they just keep rebuilding them.
Yeah, but a lot of it happens in the part of the year they can't be trapping anyway.
I thought in drainage you could trap them all
You
year
could,
round.
but you've got to get approval from the DNR, and they haven't been willing
But
to
see,
do
then
that.
no, there's a new gentleman and he won't allow it outside of the season.
really,
So we have
well,
to-
they're really not worth anything outside of the season. The actual pelt isn't worth anything.
Yes, it is.
Well, this last one was pretty close to the season, so I can kind of see that one.
According to one of my guys, he can sell he can sell the fur, he sells other parts.
So I think they're only worth like $8 a piece for the fur.
I think they're up to 15,
Oh,
and so it does make it worth it. The guys that I know that do it have not complained one time about the cost
really?
that they get, not one.
Seems
They
really
have
cheap
talked
to
to
get
the
rid of them.
new DNR person who will not allow to go in off-season.
That's the biggest problem, I think, right now.
Right,
Well, that's,
Who is that gentleman?
I don't know who that is.
Well, their pelts aren't worth anything in the off-season. Because they're not,
sell them. in
I don't know
houses.
this.
well, no, they're just not prime. They're not, the fur is not what they want.
Oh, it's not as thick.
It's just,
Of course, during the
not
summer, they
prime
lose hairs
versus-
like your dog does.
yeah.
And
But no one's complained to me about getting the $50. So
Okay, I just thought it would encourage more people to travel.
I
if it
think
was-
we've got plenty.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
Most counties do 25.
no kidding.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. Okay,
The guys that do it seem to be they just like it.
yeah.
Kind of what I
Kind
get.
of fanatical about it.
Yeah.
It's their thing.
And if they can get paid for some, great. Others, they're just helping out somebody or whatever, but.
Yeah,
So we just got to find that balance of, as long as we have a list to draw from.
yeah, and if they're doing it, I guess
Yeah.
that's great. That's all I had for drainage. That it? Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Number 7, consider for approval appointments to NICOG boards and other boards.
So we still have the NICOG board second position, right? Which used to be Candy Anna. And we have the transportation policy second unit or position, which used to be Candy Anna.
Where did my sheet go?
She still stays very active on lots of other things.
Yeah.
It's in my other folder. I'm gonna give you this first, and
She
then I'll,
wasn't at any of the meetings last year, but she's still on the board.
She rode with me a couple times.
Oh, to yours?
Yeah.
She didn't come to the transportation policy.
Oh.
I'll be right back.
one time I got to go to the NICOG board was the year that Willie had died and Mike wasn't going. And they needed a quorum. So I did it. Because alphabetically we're missing the next page after NICOG.
Oh.
On the back, there it is.
Oh, better yet.
I assume we're leaving Nyakog County Representative is Susan Smith.
Yes?
Nyakog City Representative is vacant. So who do we want that to be? Did you talk to Daisy?
Talk to Daisy.
She said yes?
Well, I was gonna see, she just wanted to make sure it wasn't a conflict
It was
with
about
their
the
board
meeting
meeting.
times.
Oh,
Twice a month during a Thursday. I sent it to her, it said, looks like it's the second Monday, 4 times a year, and theirs are the first and third, I think. But I sent her a message just now, wondering if she was, I talked to her this morning, and I said, well, I'll let you know. I sent her that picture, and, but I haven't heard back yet. But she said she would do the transportation policy one.
Daisy did?
Yeah. She thought that would be beneficial. And I told her how to get on the transportation alternative committee that does the trails one. Just tell them you want to be on it, they'll put you on. It's a committee that makes the recommendations.
How often does your port authority meet?
Well, sometimes it's, depends how busy it is. This year it hasn't been that busy once we got that thing over in Manly, redirected. It's supposed to meet this month now, before the end of the year.
Are you, sorry, excuse me. Are you leaving the economic development as Cassie Johnson?
Economic development, where's that?
That's on this NIACOG sheet. You don't have that.
Under the Council of Governments at Nyakog. She's been going,
So you want to leave that?
yeah.
Should that be on the sheet then?
I can put it on there, yeah.
Put it on the same spreadsheet.
And then North Central Regional Emergency Response, you're on that?
Yeah.
Can you leave that?
And Andy.
And leave Andy?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the only one we need to know is the Nyakog City Representative.
And if it's a different date, Daisy was willing, she said, right?
Right, well, it looks like,
Looks like
I
it
thought
is.
theirs was the first and third. Hang on a second. Oh,
These boards that I gave you today don't all need to be decided today. I just wanted to give them to you
to look at them.
to start looking at them.
Possible replacements.
Yes.
Who's up?
Yep. And then
For it anyway.
for other boards, I don't know if you have the EMS board ready, but that can be other boards today too, if you're ready with that board or not.
Well, we could talk about the EMS structure.
I think we should talk about it some more, yep.
Okay.
and put the names out there that people who've offered and are willing. So the ones that Barney was on is, have we talked to anybody about those? Public Safety Commission, Public Safety.
Veterans Affairs is Troy Thompson.
What line are you on?
Oh, Public Safety on the
It's just-
second
It's
sign.
just the mayor's, isn't it?
It's the mayor.
Oh, that's all
So
mayors?
we would also have to change Dan's farm to.
Yeah, we would. You're right. And Candy Hanna.
Yeah. I was just looking at that, it's just kind of, I think she retired.
Yes, yep. So, 3 of them on that commission.
And that's just changing to the current mayor.
Mhm.
So that's Fran, what's his last name?
Hunger,
Unger.
UNGR.
Who's Dan Swearingen's?
Mike Howen.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
Oh, it comes better.
He lives in that.
And then Barney Reuters is Ron
Howen.
Oh, so
Holland.
far. Is he gonna fill out the term, or are they gonna have
He's gonna fill out the term.
he's gonna fill?
I think it's got at least a year, probably about a year left, maybe.
Yeah, it'll 17, or, where did 17
How
come
long the
from?
terms are they?
It goes till, 23.
So the normal election would have been 23, I think.
Yes.
So he'll get through this year.
Yep.
So on transportation.
Transportation. Just put Daisy. Who's the guy that owns the big business out by Rake?
Asmus?
Osmus,
What's his first name? Harlan.
so since I serve on the DNR Animal Feeding Board that's never ever met in my last 12 years, maybe I should call a meeting of that and see what they're doing about feeding the beavers. See who shows up.
Which line, which line is that? Oh, there,
DNR.
animal, there we go.
Animal feeding board,
Well,
you're on it.
I'm on
I
it
know.
too. I would like
Well,
to
you're the
be
backup.
there.
You're the
You're the
backup.
alternate.
Oh, can I come anyway?
Well, I've never been to one.
I,
They've never called.
I will if you call the meeting.
Do they have a meeting?
I've never had one in 12 years.
No, do they have one without you though?
Not that I know of.
And what is it actually, guys?
Animal feeding board.
Well,
Who's-
I don't know how this one works, but out west on federal lands, they hire people to feed the elk.
Stephanie Swenson's not on that public health board.
No,
Who took her place?
Vicky, no, Jackie.
Jackie. Miller.
Knows a lot about a lot of things.
Is Sandy Morales still on there?
She is.
Okay. And Sonia
She-
Rank is still on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Sandy offered to go off if there was someone else they felt should be on, but she's very knowledgeable in that area as well.
The conference board is just the mayors too also? Conference board, so that would be Ron Holland also? When's the last time you were at a Citizens Advisory Board in Cherokee?
Whatever.
Well, Susan, have you ever been to that?
Never.
It was one of those things that Mike never thought was worth going over there, but he said that about a lot of things.
I don't know if I ever really received any
Communications.
emails or anything. I have to be honest with you, some of those boards you really don't feel like you're having any added value whatsoever.
Be some truth to that. But I do remember, well, the only thing I can remember about that board is that Mike says I remember him saying that, so I bet we discussed it for a few days before.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it turned into more of an advisory board instead of an actual accountability.
So we have on the HIPAA compliance board, we have Kelsey, Carla, Terry, Sandy Morales, and Allison Rice. Who do we want to put instead of Sandy Morales? Do you want to put Ruth?
I'm just wondering if that'd be the same type of position or not. Are we moving forward with the two-county thing?
It's going to possibly be a 3-county. She might be doing Cassuth too.
Oh, she's already two counties.
She's doing us board and then now possibly Cassuth.
So we're gonna do Ruth then?
I haven't heard whether that's happening.
Well, I need to, she's asked me how we want to handle that, and I need to get a hold of,
Galloway,
yeah.
have to set up the conflict of interest possibilities or not?
Well, I don't know, I need to look at it again.
Which one are you talking about, the HIPAA one still?
Well, we're talking about
Oh,
job.
okay.
Advocate.
Mhm.
So the Homeward Trust Fund is now Nyakog Trust Fund. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
and it's Susan. But, and scratch Melissa, because there's only one position.
Right.
Does ICAP have meetings you guys go to then? Or? That's for our insurance part of it?
I
Cap, I cap.
I remember going to something down there years ago during, one of the statewide meetings where they would come in and have a breakfast and they'd explain things.
ICAP just comes into the county and they come and they meet with me and we go and we walk around the courthouse and we,
But there was a functioning portion down there one time. I remember, it seemed like we voted on something on how we wanted to proceed with an ICAP program or something.
no, that was IMWCA. No, that wasn't. That was,
IHGCP.
no, that was our unemployment. Yeah,
I remember that. It seemed like it was ICAP. It was only once we did it.
yeah, it was our unemployment because we got a big check back. They were changing the way they funded our entire unemployment. And so they had us vote whether they wanted to have us give our money back or they were going to fund it out into the future. And
Is that through ICAP or is that?
it's through ISAC.
Oh,
There's too many
I know,
acronyms.
they just need to have a simple title for them.
And that, when they have their act, like when you get an email from them, sometimes you wish that somewhere underneath their
It would spell it all
acronym, it
out.
would say exactly what they are
Yes.
again, so you can remember.
Yeah, because you forget who you're talking to.
Yeah, it's just like, which one is this?
I know.
They're all, and there's so many that are so similar that
I know, it's hard.
what was the name that went on the Veterans Affair again?
Troy
Oh,
Thompson.
that's it. Oh, by the way, I suppose we have to put it on our agenda next week, to discuss that, action on the, what we did yesterday on the application for the, relocation funds for, veterans.
For home base.
We changed it from coming from out of state, coming to Winnebago County or Worth County.
Oh, she had me put that on for next week.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing that I noticed on that application is that she's got 2 pictures for Fertile on the Winnebago County application.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I took one of those, and I
It's-
didn't even notice it. Good job.
it's got the big,
The mill?
the mill, and then it's got the picture of their bridge. And it's like, couldn't you have found 2 pictures of Winnebago County?
There's a bridge in Fort City.
Yeah, but it's not our bridge.
Yeah.
No, but Fort City has that bridge.
The Swingman Bridge.
This one you put on.
Well, she could put our bridge, but she didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Is that?
Good
Swinging
catch.
Bridge?
I never
Is
even noticed that.
down by,
The Pamble Park.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, it doesn't really swing anymore, does it? It bounces.
That's a
They
swing
changed
down.
it from swinging to bouncing. Right.
Workforce Development Board. Oh, that's the one that meets in Fort City, or not Fort, Mason City, right?
I think so.
Yes.
I did get a couple of applications from the workforce when I,
Did you?
yeah.
Oh. Oh, cool. Anything promising at all? Who knows, huh?
I'll let you know next week.
Okay.
Still didn't have anything yet, right?
I don't know. She's pretty tight-lipped about it.
So Compensation Board,
Dan,
Who's the recorder's new,
Harlan Asmus.
oh, okay,
where does her, who's,
recorder?
oh. Mhm.
So we'll need a new chair then. Or is Lynn the chair? I can't remember.
Lynn's the chair.
Lynn's the chair. Are we re-upping AJ then?
I would say so.
No problem with it, I guess.
Did Julie let you know that Stephens is on again?
She has not, but I will let the people know that the ones that are expired and let them know that, make sure they're,
There's only two more would be Yagi and Stephens. Any changes in the trustees and clerks that we need to identify?
oh boy. I have that list someplace else, so I can look at that later and compare.
Don't make it. Any changes there? Okay, it's moved out of the county here. Otherwise,
All right, is there anything else on that? Except for the ones that we're still gonna check on as far as trustees and clerks. Anybody notice anybody who's either moved or not alive?
I didn't notice that.
Okay.
Did you call City Hall or are you just trying to call her cell phone?
it's busy.
Should we,
She sounded like she would do it if it didn't conflict with the city council meetings. And according to the schedules, it should be the second, and the city hall meetings are the first and third. I looked that up. So I think we can probably appoint her.
pencil her in unless we hear different, right?
Well, we don't finalize it till the first of the year, so.
Yeah. So you'll be,
Is there a phone book back behind one of you guys?
There used to be.
There used to be.
all of that.
One.
Stuff
Where that went?
in the drawers.
Let me go get
Here
it.
it is.
For sure. Which one was that?
City of Forest City.
City Hall?
Well, I bet it's on this sheet.
No, maybe so.
I'm not patient enough to wait.
For me to go through this whole,
We're looking at Nia Cog, which shows Cassie Johnson, but is she going down?
She's gone with me
Deanna,
before.
is Daisy in?
So
I pick her up even.
just two on there then?
No, that's okay. Well,
I'm confused.
Well, Candy went with us as well.
yeah, we're in the board meeting and
Who's
we're talking
representing?
about the Nyakog city representative
Hold on.
and wondering if she'd be able to do that.
I'm confused. I don't remember Cassie being on it.
And just, yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
we put her on there last year and
Okay,
never let Nyakog go. I don't
okay,
know. But I see government people being more
okay.
value added on that than
Exactly.
economic.
No, she is not.
I think so too.
I think it might have got
It
confused. She
was,
said from the
Candy
economic
Hannah,
part of it.
yeah.
That's big.
What?
Yeah,
That's the old one?
that's,
That's the one I want.
You know, we keep that around for active shooter guns.
throwing at people.
Stop it.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna
Stop
say,
it.
we could use
You
it
gotta
for
have something
club.
to throw. I'm not throwing them.
I want that when I get
It's
sit
got the
over
wrong,
there.
it's got the wrong year on it though. You have to get new ones every now and then, because they
Oh.
don't only have so many years in them.
Right.
Yeah. Now, when I retire, that's what I want.
You got this big, big stress deal with you. If you read it backwards there, it's gonna.
I've got a meeting with,
Oh, here
Okay.
it is.
I've got
Yeah.
a
See,
meeting with
Winnebago
Nyakog.
County, April,
Stamp something.
got 2004 on
For the
it.
city representative.
That's the last one.
Okay.
I don't remember ever seeing this one before, it still works.
Let me see that.
April 18th, 2004. Spin through the years and see what the last year is.
Put your glasses on.
Was it
No, I
adjustable
gotta
by
take a long
year?
look to see it.
I thought it was. You build muscles with that.
2008, 2007.
Yeah, something like that. You could probably take a rubber mallet.
Yeah. That's funny. So I'll be. attending.
2008.
Well, just have her give me a call when she gets this message.
It's a long time ago.
Okay, thank you.
That's still in there.
Bye-bye.
I never opened up that thing, looked at her, and I saw this,
What'd you find out, Carla?
Nobody knows who she is.
Okay.
Yeah, on the phone. On phone. I know, she was with the, when I saw her, she was meeting with the cemetery board.
Oh,
She doesn't have to attend, she's trying to learn. She came up and talked to them, but I say we pencil her in for now and find out.
okay.
I think there was confusion. I don't think Cassie Johnson was on that, or she was on an economic development one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Daisy's on, or Cassie's on the economic development
So you
night.
need to add another line there.
Yep.
And who else? Is it just one on there?
Do you want me to make a copy of this sheet for you?
Yeah, I know. But eventually, would we have all those on here?
Yeah, I can just put them on.
I think Desi almost wanted to come and hear our discussions on recycling.
I'd like Daisy to be here for everything.
Anybody want care connections in North Iowa? No, no.
No.
I'm on my way to being a consumer.
Because you'll have a conflict, you'll have a conflict of interest.
I gotta switch
hats.
You'll have a real conflict of interest.
I'm on the wrong end of these meetings.
So I suppose we should probably be working harder on the EMS council because they have to meet soon for budgeting.
Yes, please.
We have to talk about that.
So our structure was,
I have that here.
so one county supervisor, four city, and are we appointing the person or are we putting it to them to designate their,
I think it's up to you how you decide to do it.
Each city,
technically, we have the ability to appoint whoever
wasn't it gonna be the mayor or the
from
representative?
within. Do we want to do it that way, just?
That's how you did it on the technical committee.
Technically.
So I think it's up to you how you do it on the advisory committee.
So we can,
We could do it different from each town depending on their situation. I mean, if you think a mayor is better, if you think a city clerk or city administrator would be better, or if you think a councilman would be better, or somebody else. Just so somebody
or
from
a
that town.
civically active person in their town as well.
Each city would wanna appoint their
Well, once again, in Port City, I see Daisy being more value added. They may end up doing, she may end up doing the thing, you know, for Iver's thing for Port City EMS. So she'd have some connection there and knowledge. She's trying to, she had a meeting at 10:30 with lawyers on that. She said,
Oh.
maybe she was prepping for that meeting.
Mm.
So I don't know if you think, I don't know if the mayor would be a good option. He was at one meeting and really didn't offer much there.
self-educated, basically.
We need to have somebody that's more budget
Like I said, the technical committee said, you said the city mayors or the appointee.
or appointee.
So I think maybe we should look at the council and see who's on the council.
You got Woolrich, and you
Carl.
got, is there a Buffington on there? And there's a new one, that gal, and then there's
Tony Mikes.
Tony Mikes. Tony might be good on there.
I don't know.
He serves on Port City Economic Development. He's actually the chair of Port City Economic Development.
Oh.
AJ Welsh is on there.
Because he had to step down as chair of the Industrial Committee, because now he's chair of the board. And Tony Mikes, he was on that Iowa Leadership Board that Melissa was talking about. He was on that last year. He learned a lot.
So it's Mayor Ron Holland, Brad Buffington, Dan Davis, Carly Carper, Tony Mikes, Marcia Tweeten, AJ Welsh, and Carl Woolridge.
I think Tony would be a good choice if he'll do it.
So you wanna write Tony down as,
Better talk to him first.
right, but I mean, let's fill it with our wish list and then we'll talk to each of the appointees to make sure that they'll accept it.
Trying to figure out who his second choice would be if he doesn't want to do it. I don't know if Carl would do it.
It's amazing how fast people can say no. We were trying to get somebody to run for church council the other day.
How about
Nope.
Brad Buckington? He seems to have a level head.
Is that, is he related to
The Hills, well, Larry's nephew. See, is that Debbie Buffington's son? On the other.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's Andy's.
Yeah, so that's an outstanding.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think
another
so.
set of Buffingtons.
Yeah, I don't.
You know Dorothy Hill out there?
Mm-hmm. You wanna put,
Brad Buffington is the second alternative.
yeah.
Okay, so we go on to Lake Mills.
So we had the conversation about Fran, that,
He might have more time now, or is he gonna be traveling
I don't know, or if he's
in retirement?
looking at retirement, I don't know. And the city,
Joe Jamgard's still on the city council, isn't he?
So it's Fran Unger, Tony Sorensen, Scott Flugum, Joe Jamgard, Katie Peterson, and Robert Storby.
Joe's always been involved there. He
I think his
drives
plate
for
is
the fire
really,
department when they need somebody.
his plate is pretty full right now, I think, because of him opening his, you know, I know he's really, really busy. So, even though she's not mayor anymore, with Candy, she's very knowledgeable.
Could we do Mark Peterson?
Yes.
I don't know. I wasn't and then I wasn't. Because
I'm actually, I think, yes, I think that could be a,
I just saw where after the meeting he was here, all of a sudden we're getting all these emails from family that are trying to sway us on things. It's like, why didn't you just do it yourself? And kind of set me wrong. I don't know.
there's certainly an interest there though, you know, a passion. We need people that are gonna put in the time.
What is it saying? You can't beat him, join him.
I'm not sure that any of the other, other than Fran, of those council members would, you know, other than
Talk to
the,
Fran and see if he's interested. I think it's gonna be key at some point to have the cities involved, and if you take it outside of the city representation, you're kind of disconnecting them other than through the technical committee.
so do we feel like Candy is not an option? Because she's past mayor?
She was also the financial person for the EMS for many years too, which is valuable, and then it's almost conflict.
It's true. Well, we can put Fran first, as a first, and then have a second. I think from just the viewpoint of doing the work and the research, would be a good choice. There's gonna be a lot of big decisions to make in that
You
role.
live in town then.
Can we find out?
How about local center? Who's on the council? Step worth on the council.
I think so.
Is she still on?
No, I think Mark was in town.
Oh, okay. I was not sure.
That's the things about that choice that make difference. There are a few things about that choice that make difference.
Which one? Yeah. Okay.
We'll talk to Fran.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm not sure how up to date
Some of the sites are.
Buffalo Center's.
The other one in like, no, possibly could be Diane. That's it.
Yep.
Oh. See, she'd have knowledge of the budgeting and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd rather have more of the city stuff on the tech.
Well,
Not so much on this one. Yeah, we were really, just, well, no, the rate was on the tech.
So,
I just kind of.
who's the mayor of Buffalo Center?
John Davis.
So I have Rick Hoffbauer, Nicholas Holland, Jared Belcher, Ricardo Garcia, and Tanner Weaver. I don't know how up to date this is, because it still shows Linda Harms as the city clerk, and I think Cheryl's back.
Deb is back.
Deb, sorry. I'm getting my Lake Mills again.
They just said that because she retired so she could collect her IVers and then had to take the 3 months off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Weaver, I mean, his dad was on the ambulance for years. I don't know,
does he work in the store or?
the whole family runs the store.
So he's one of the kids I buy shoes from.
Yeah. Learning how to do the repairs.
He'd be good on it?
I don't know if that would be something he'd want to do now or not.
You're young.
Might create continuity. Forward.
Is he on, he's not on the ambulance?
No, he personally isn't, but his dad was for years and years.
So he'd understand.
I'm sure they discuss things like that.
I guess I'd kind of like to reward a younger person like that would want to get involved if they're willing.
He would probably be the best chance of all of them. I don't think Nick, he's a pretty busy guy.
But it's only, I don't know, people ask me how many meetings is it? Well, probably quarterly meetings is what they're gonna need.
It's gonna be
Probably at first a lot more than
busier
that.
at first.
The first budget's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
And even that first year to figure out their roles and how they're going to, is gonna be certainly monthly, I would say the first year.
Fire department, ambulance.
How about, oh, she's on the ambulance crew. Jessa Worth, but she's on the ambulance crew, I believe.
Yes, she is.
She works at the bank. She'd be good.
Should I put down Tanner
For the city representative.
for Buffalo?
I don't think, guys, that's probably the best chance I'll have to ask him about it.
We should start there and see.
I don't think any of the rest of them have much interest.
Outside of city council,
Yeah, and civic people
Well,
that
I
are
mean,
super.
I mean, a really good obvious choice, but he is so busy, it is Brian Logic, because he was a fire chief, he knows he's very into
how
the
about your neighbor?
services.
To the north?
Steve? No, I mean, he was a fireman for years. His wife was on the ambulance for a little while.
He's business-minded.
Who's
He's a sharp guy.
Who's the banker that was at our Buffalo Center meeting? Goes to the Reformed Church. He was
Mike Ketwick,
Mike Ketwick.
he's a Kasuth County.
Oh, he's Kasuth.
He's across the border. Not by far. Well, no, actually, he's a mile south, west now. He lived, before he was only like a quarter mile from the border, but he moved out of the whole place now.
Okay.
I mean, one that's very, numbers minded, but he's also a really busy guy. And he was on the committee with Dan Gagey. And my guess is he did not vote for it, but also you want people on there that are gonna make sure this is gonna get done.
On the up and up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good, solid, financial minded guy.
Put him as a backup then?
Yeah.
If Tanner doesn't want to do it. Talk to him.
Okay. So
Which one? Which one are we putting as a backup?
Tanner first, Dan
Dan
second.
or Steve? We talked about both of them.
Whichever ones want to do it, I guess you can ask them.
No, start with Steve and then go to Dan.
Well, we could go, we still need a finance person, so you could do Dan as one and do Steve as the banker person. Is he a banker person?
No, he's a
Real estate.
Oh,
insurance. But, I mean, he's.
Some of the names we kicked around for
Finance was
finance was maybe Brian Knudsen.
Brian Knudsen, Darren Peel, Nancy Mockelson,
Yeah,
Darren Peel.
Nancy was for the role.
Megan. Megan Nor.
Oh,
Megan
no.
Norland.
Nor.
Well, she works at the bank. I don't know.
But she keeps busy with the waitressing too.
Yeah, no, and she's busy too.
I was at a Christmas party at Brandon Art the other night. Both her and the other gal that works in there were
Wow.
waitressing.
Well, I think Brian would be a great one for finance personally, but
Brian,
Knudsen
Knudsen.
works for MPT, I think.
Mhm.
Been there for years. He owns farmland and he's kind of a rural too, but he serves on our, when we're at that co-revolving fund scoring committee.
Mhm.
He always asks me questions there. So that would be a finance possibility.
Mhm. And then for farm, we talked about, throwing as well, didn't we?
Brian?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure there's more.
And I don't know, do you wanna put Scott back on there if he's willing? He was on the advisory council this year, Scott Anderson. He been to several meetings.
Yeah.
He was there quite a few times.
He's definitely very smart with that stuff, absolutely.
The other name that I thought of was Lynn Higginson, but this time of year he likes to go south too, so you know, look at that as if their availability
That's
for
true,
a key part of it.
that's right.
He wants to,
Oh, Lynn wants to.
yes. He's contacted me and said that he would
Okay.
Oh, nice.
would do it.
Oh, yeah, he's the one that even said that he could call
He,
in
by,
had
Zoom
to.
or whatever it is.
Zoom.
So would we do that instead of Scott then,
Yeah,
or instead of Brian, or?
Lynn also was, he's not on the ambulance around here anymore, but I know when he goes south, he works at one of the ball fields down there or something, so he volunteer that he goes to. And he has around here in the past, so he has some background in it. He's just
I think he only goes, I think they're only gone for
they
like
don't go.
oh, yeah, it isn't,
sometime in January they go down and come back before March or something.
yeah,
But if he can,
Long
he can
term.
communicate.
long term, he's a very good candidate for it. The short term means there's gonna have to be so much done. You know, that's where you,
So let's just write those three gentlemen's name down for farm for right now, and then we'll use.
You wanna make, which ones are you gonna talk to? We need two. Which first two are we gonna talk to? Lynn and,
Well, if
Lynn
Lynn's.
has already been talked to, so,
yeah, so we could probably put him down.
yeah,
Mhm.
and he's a good sharp guy.
Yeah.
And of the other two, who do you want to contact first?
I guess I'd like to almost put Scott on there as a connection to the Farm Bureau.
And he was in on the first advisory. That makes sense.
And we kind of wanted some of the return.
See, like
They'll have some background.
with Dan, see, he's farm, he has a business in town, and, so, I mean, he's got
For which,
the
for Buffalo Center
agriculture
one?
connection there too, he's a Farm Bureau member. But yeah,
For
no, Scott's a good choice.
So back to Buffalo Center, what were we thinking there?
Maybe we,
So what I have so far is Tony Mike's first, alternate Brad Buffington. Lake Mills, Fran Unger first, alternate Diane Price. Buffalo Center, Tanner Weaver first, Steve Hasselbrook or Dan Yagi second. Finance person Brian Knudsen. Rural, Lynn Higginson, Scott Anderson. That's what I have so far.
and what do we have left then?
So then we have
Oh,
Thompson.
Andy. No, Thompson.
Thompson.
Andy Isco. Thompson, I'm guessing Mike would do it again.
Yeah.
He committed to as many as he could.
He's been to a lot of stuff, I mean, he was even his,
I don't think he's racing as much this next year.
was that right? Slow down a little.
I think that makes the most sense there. And then we need the E EMS.
No, EMS is only on the
Yeah.
technical. We have a project
Yeah.
coordinator.
Oh, the
Oh.
project coordinator. We haven't named that yet. Are we gonna have to put that out for advertising?
Or are they gonna wanna pick their,
I don't know.
cause that's gonna
Part
be
of me
the-
thinks
To me, it's an appointment by us. It's critical for our.
That's about as key as
Muted.
you get them.
They might wanna give us input on who they want who they think would be their best representative, but, we have to listen, I guess.
But the project coordinator should be involved right away with the budget. It's kind of a key thing to get going. So for the county supervisor representation, this is gonna end up being me then? Is there a backup for?
For you,
Yeah.
I can be your backup.
Okay with you then?
Room for all that responsibility?
Not really, but
One of us do it.
It's a four-year term.
well, that's the other thing we gotta discuss. How are these gonna alternate?
That's true.
Should probably determine that soon too.
Unless it wants to be you with Terry as a backup.
Hurt my feelings.
Right?
Do that, Bill.
So I thought you would do this.
Or my schedule.
So do you think there's any reason that we all should attend the first?
Because of which ones you're talking about. Are you talking about the advisory council? Are
Advisory.
you talking about the technical committee? Are you talking
Or should we even
There's none of
switch
us on the
that up?
technical. There's none of us are on the technical.
But do we want somebody to attend those meetings at first? For a while until they figure out the
So
protocol?
they understand what we want.
Mhm. Cause if you two go to the advisory, I could attend technical just so that I would kinda know what they're talking about.
Well, just one's gonna be there and one's gonna be the
Right.
alternate. So
Yes.
just one of them's gonna be there.
Unless we want to just make her a representative to the technical committee.
Because we don't have a finite number on that technical committee, do we?
No.
You know,
They
so
can
I
have
could
one
just,
person. They can all go if they want. You just have to tell the one person if they want, I guess.
I could attend technical meetings and just be available for questions. You two fight out the other one then.
You got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, other stuff.
Well, they don't have to go to
Mental health?
Care Connections one. Sure.
Well, you know, that isn't near what it used to be.
Yeah.
They used to be, sometimes, I think, one month we had five
Yeah.
different meetings.
When there was quadrants and that was a mess. All right, so that no, he has a backup. That's one.
That's 9. That's what we wanted, right?
because of the project coordinator, we haven't identified yet.
Right. Do you feel like the project coordinator is going to be someone that's coming out of the technical committee group?
I think there's a lot of importance to it. There's a lot of accountability, you know. We're gonna rely on the project coordinator to make sure the budget's being adhered to
And lots of
legitimate
communication.
expenses and what do you think?
And did we determine that if it was going to be a paid, part-time paid position?
See, that's, I don't know.
Remember that in their budget, did they account for project coordinator?
See, that's what I feel like. I don't know. Part of me thinks, like with everything else, it just comes through my office and I look at it and I make sure that it fits into their budget. And so why is this any different than everything else? Like, why do they need, if it's just looking at the budget, that's what I do,
But my thought is there gonna be too much conflict of interest of anybody to take that on from within over there? You need somebody not in the process to oversee it too.
Yeah.
Big job.
If it's gonna come within, it's almost gonna have, maybe come from Force EMS, wouldn't it? Since they're handling it at least two ends of it.
So then, the person that I brought to you last week, I think, might be,
That's my thought.
Mhm.
Is that a conversation? Well, okay, so then at that point, do we need to advertise that? And do we have to determine, is there a value to it on the budget?
if it's a paid position, we have to put it on the bulletin board for 10 days.
I think with responsibility should come some pay with it.
I do too. I agree.
Who was it you said last week?
Jason showed interest. He fills in paramedic down in Hancock County. So he understands all that. He used to work for Fort City, or for
That's
Fort
our-
City, Fort City.
That's probably our best candidate at this point, I feel.
But
And-
should we determine that number before we,
Is he a numbers-minded guy?
I know he always had concerns for the budget over here.
Yeah.
And the operations.
Certainly a passion and an interest for it to work.
So is this something time-wise, are we able to maybe have a conversation with him between now and next week, and then decide to put it up for publication? Timing gonna be okay there, we're on the 13th now, that makes it 20th to start, get it in the paper on the 21st, 22nd.
Well, you still could post it.
That'd be through
You
the
can
end of
post
the
it
year.
right now, right?
Yeah.
So 10 days, you said?
But as a post, shouldn't you have a number associated with it?
We don't technically
Or
have that
depending on, I suppose you could just say dependent on
job
experience.
You need to have the job description, I guess, be about it.
And we decided last week we have that job description for the week before.
Sort of. Okay.
Description before we have it.
Oh, that reminds me, the letter that we got last week made the Lake Mills paper, but she put a little disclaimer on the bottom that said that we had already approved the
It was
material.
in the Four City paper too.
Was it?
Disclaimer.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. So under this sheet that we have, role of EMS coordinator, referred to as the coordinator. Number one, promptly complete tasks as defined in the Winnebago County EMSAC coordinator job description with excellence. So there's another set of, okay, be the official liaison spokesperson to the ancillary organizations, the press, and the public regarding EMS within Winnebago County. Be directly responsible to the Board of Supervisors for day-to-day operations. So,
You know, the major thing is the liaison between the technical committee and the,
But they should be available for the PR part of it too, the press, for sure.
that might come up quite a bit in the first year.
it's true.
So I suppose this position would have to be available to answer questions for the EMS services day to day. If they have another job or whatever, they have to at least be able to answer by email or text or whatever.
But this person is not going to be in control of or responsible for any scheduling or any of that.
No, that would be for city EMS.
That's still for, that's all, yeah.
It's purely someone that can understand what the wishes of the technical committee are and bring it forward to us with some knowledge of all of it.
So you think, well, there's probably going to be quite a few meetings a year that this person has to go through. Means it has to be some reimbursement.
I think so.
And then is there going to be budget for, will this person have to have mileage and things like that, you know? Yeah,
So
Can I see that real quick?
I didn't mark that.
the gentleman that we were talking about was in
I'll
town.
just make a copy of it.
No, I'm gonna give it right back to you.
It was Thompson. Which I thought he would be infinitely worse than doing that.
Yeah. He lives about 2 blocks from the old ambulance shed.
It was fine.
He lives about 2 blocks from the old ambulance shed.
Oh,
South of West. His wife is a nurse.
Oh, I see.
So this is what, I don't know if you can read my handwriting, but this is what I think the job description should be. And if you want me to add those things,
I think they have to be included,
okay.
massage it into it.
were you done, Terry?
Well, she's got liaison between technical committee and advisory council, work with county auditor with budget, work with county auditor regarding claims, because has to work with the board of supervisors too.
Mhm.
And,
So I can add those things in and then you
then
think
add
that's
that
good?
Needs to, work with the ancillary organizations, the press, the public regarding EMS within the county. So that stuff would be within number one,
Okay.
right? That kind of defines that part of it. I don't know what else would be under number one. Number number one just basically said, refer to this. Well, I don't know what that was. And it may be a, job description we have to probably put further, to have accountability. So what number do you think would be a good start?
And where's the money coming from?
It's gonna have to come from the EMS fund this budget.
Well,
Do you think, 2,500?
I was gonna say 5, but
It's a lot that's not budgeted for.
I know, but who are you gonna get to do this work?
well, it depends on how many meetings they are. I mean, maybe it's,
It'd be quite a few the first year for sure.
yeah, the first year it's gonna be a few more, but,
Going on, I think it's gonna pretty much stay consistent. I don't
You know,
think it's a
so
full-time
especially
job,
if-
but
yeah,
by any means, but I think it's gonna take some kind of incentive to keep somebody there.
He's got 2 sets of meetings to go to all the time, and then also be the liaison to,
Take phone calls, and we know about taking phone calls all
and
times of the day and night.
publications. I mean, I'm sure he or she would work with Carla in knowing where to
They
advertise
could
or
put
not.
the number as a cap and see what they would do it for.
I mean, when you think about this, this is gonna control a lot of money that we taxed for. It has to be right, it has to be consistent, it has to be, it can't be somebody not showing up to meetings and,
We're not sure when the advisory council is gonna be setting up their meetings, if during the day, is it in the evening? My guess it's probably gonna be more evening, late afternoon at least.
you know. You know, and
Or like the Board of Health first thing in the morning type thing or something, I don't know.
accountability is gonna be big, you
Yeah,
know.
that, I think it has to have some value.
So you, in your mind, you were thinking 2,500 kind of a, what were you thinking, Doug?
It's a little over $200 a month.
yeah, it's, all depends on how much time it consumes, what that person's worth per hour. But it's also, should you get some for it, it should be someone that will do it probably for nothing in a sense. Because they're, could almost be considered their volunteer. But,
It's just gonna take twice as much time as any of the people on either of the committees.
if I knew exactly, I mean, yeah, somewhere between the two numbers is probably 500 might be enough, right up front. Because again, it's not a full-time job, but it's gonna take a couple hours every week for sure.
Full-time availability.
Yeah.
The phone will be ringing.
Well, do we wanna,
Start with the 3,500 number. Start with the 3,500 number.
what number were you talking?
5.
What?
1,000.
Oh, I was thinking you said 500.
Oh, no.
That's what.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
I
no.
think let's start with 25 and see,
Yeah.
have them do the hours and see where they're at. And
If it requires more, we can always up it, I
I
guess.
don't wanna break the budget necessarily, if they're willing to
Yeah.
do it for that.
That's probably a couple $100 a month is, start with, and if it turns
And if it
Be
turns
way more.
into a, yeah, if it
They
just
can-
turns into a real burden, you know,
And
as far
we
as
would consider
numbers.
this just a contract person, then
Start there.
no benefits or anything like that,
Right.
other than workman's comp, I suppose.
Well, they'd be like Andy Buffington was when he just
There's still
supervised.
workman's comp involved there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's a regular paycheck, so,
And is that how it would be paid monthly then?
no, it'd be
Or
like with everybody else's
like everybody
check.
else's?
Yeah.
Well, start at 2,500. See what,
Yeah, depending on experience.
just, yeah.
So we don't have to advertise that necessarily, just
Mhm.
our number. So do we want to start advertising this?
I got a job description now, I just need to add,
Just go ahead with all the other advertisements for jobs.
yeah, no kidding.
You don't have that application in your pile here still, do you?
Application,
That we looked at last week.
I don't remember getting an application last week.
Oh. For the project for you? No?
Mm-mm.
I thought we had,
Somebody showed interest, right?
Oh, from
yes.
the application that I had
Yes.
for him? Yes, I have
Do
that.
you still have that?
Yes, I think it's in my office though.
Okay. We can reread through that and just see what, because there was some lengthy
Yeah, it's in my office.
information on there. All right. Do we have enough?
Gets us a start.
Yes, it's a start.
Okay. Are we through all the EMS advisory, the technical, and any other EMS questions?
So when we advertise this project coordinator, if we put it in the paper, where do we take that out of the budget?
Put it in the paper, do we?
Is
I
that
wouldn't-
under our supervisor?
I wouldn't put it in the paper. I'll probably just put it on the Facebook page, put it on the website,
And
That's
post
all
it.
it's
post it on the board. Yep.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing else, we're gonna move on to semi-monthly county claims.
Clear down there?
Are we gonna
What
go
about
to
the eight?
open bids for recycling first?
I'm sorry, where are we at?
8.
Number 8.
Oh,
Not that it's important, right?
it is important.
We're just smelling the food and wanting to get out of here.
I am, actually, how many crock pots are down there?
Maybe we should just, if you give up the recycling program, just go strictly garbage.
Guess we better look at things first.
This is why you should never dig in your bag for past agendas when you're talking about something, because I was going off of our agenda from last week. Ugh.
Did that one indicate about where it goes?
Nope.
Well, he takes, everything to the same place as the waste management. I would guess, well, unless I think he could go to Mississippi. I don't know what he said.
And it says here the waste management is interested in drop sites.
They aren't interested. They're set up for the other stuff now, the trucks.
see if there's a term.
Was it you that was in there about your recycling that never got picked up?
Mhm.
Did it ever get picked up?
Mhm.
It did?
Yep.
Rakes did get picked up.
Mhm.
I noticed a whole bunch of recycling containers sitting out by the ends of
Half
driveways.
of my route got picked up last Friday, a week late, but the other half didn't. And Rice Lake did.
Rice Lake hadn't been picked up since Thanksgiving.
And that's where we were at.
Mhm.
And then they showed up on the December 2nd, on a Friday. Nobody knew they were coming. And he was very nice. He apologized.
New guy.
He's a new guy. His name was Joe. But then as I was talking to some of the neighbors, like Hanson's and Kramer, those guys that are kind of in our area, Jeff, it was, we had Joe, they had George, and somebody else had Tom. So, is it really, I don't know, so,
Mm.
but he was very nice and apologetic. He just said that they were just running into trouble with staffing. And one day he had the truck out there, but they'd given him a smaller truck, and I don't know what kind of fuel they used. But he told me he had to pull out of picking up because he had to get to Mason City, and he didn't have enough fuel to get to Mason City.
Mason City.
I was just thinking it'd be easier to go back and get fuel, then finish the route, and then go to Mason.
That's what I
Yeah,
think too.
but if they gave him a small truck, maybe he wouldn't even have room if people were
I've never
behind
seen,
him on.
I have never seen a small truck.
No, I've only seen one size.
So on this one, is this at every county site?
What did it say there?
Okay, can I just read it? So this one says, thank you for considering my bid for countywide recycling. The recycling containers would be at each of the county sheds and would be emptied twice a month at the rate of, can I say that amount?
Yeah.
$4,000 per month, or $48,000 per year. This rate would be a fixed rate with a 4-year contract. If agreed upon, it will be a 4 to 6 month wait for the brand new containers to arrive. But that's at every county shed then. I mean,
So it'd be Buffalo Center, Thompson, Lake Mills, Forest City.
so that's probably where the 4,000 is coming from, so $1,000.
Just wondering if there's an alternative site besides in Forest City.
Because Forest City has their own.
Forest City.
Do we have any other county sites that are close around?
I'm thinking county
It would
conservation.
almost be nice if we had one in each town.
That's more equipment he has to pay
Yeah,
for.
yeah. It's, so somebody from Scarville doesn't have to go. Yeah, sometimes they're gonna go Lake Mills
It's
or
only 4
Thompson.
miles to Lake Mills.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Back road.
So what are they offering, Bill? On waste systems?
Well,
Status quo at 550 times 1,000.
which is,
And I'd want to make sure that we aren't paying for out at the trailer park out here, the city of Four Cities.
that's considerable less expense wise.
No, it's not.
So
They
They
there's,
went
had, they had more housing.
No, I mean, as far as compared to the two bids,
Oh,
Well, yeah, but
550 times 1,000.
Yeah.
So maybe
times
right
12.
55,000 versus 48,000.
now- Oh, that's a month?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, per month they're doing?
Yeah.
I didn't see.
per
that
month
part.
for year 1 of the contract. On each anniversary of the contract, it would be a 4% increase.
Oh, so that's 5,500 per month.
Yes,
So,
times
so
12.
the other one's actually cheaper then.
66,000 the first year.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is up from last year,
Oh, yeah.
way up from
Ten
last year.
thousand or more?
Yes.
So,
Or if it's going straight to
I'm just not,
landfill.
I don't think I wanna act on this week without knowing the other alternative doesn't actually end up in a recycling facility. I don't
Well,
wanna pay
does
for
any of it end up
taking
in a
it to the dump.
recycling facility? If it's all going to the landfill anyway, then we just as well scrap the recycling program and go with
garbage,
garbage.
Can
Or-
we just table this for this week and find out?
we need more information,
And,
for sure.
I mean, if we can't take it to a recycling facility and make sure it's doing what we're pretending to do, why are we doing it?
Right.
Who was the other bid from? Can I ask
Scott
that?
Levine,
Scott Levine from Buffalo Center. You know Larry Gray with BC Repair, be his son-in-law.
Okay, he does this too.
He picks up Buffalo's recycling.
Okay.
Does he do garbage as well?
No.
Just recycling?
Just recycling. Yeah, it seems like he's might do like Wacola or something too, I'm not sure.
so he's
Seems
kind of a
like he does.
startup.
Yeah, he's just kind of getting,
So the cost to the county, $48,000 per year. This rate would be fixed rate in 4-year contracts. It's done. And this one's more expensive, but we already have the containers in place.
and it's also more convenient for the rural people as long as they're picking it up.
As long as they're picking
Because
it
all
up.
they gotta do is take it to the end of the driveway.
I can't say that it's been very convenient this year.
Oh, they've been picking it up.
So
That's
this,
the problem.
as a consumer that lives in the country that recycles, what's your thoughts, Julie? I mean, as far as if all of a sudden you didn't have a container to bring to the end of your lane.
If we didn't have recycling pickup, our question would be, what would we do with all of our cans, bottles and all of that? Do we dig a hole out in the farm and
Well,
bury it?
my
or
thought is if
take it
we
to the
if we
landfill?
drop everything, we would we'd get a hold of Waste Management and ask them to give us information on how somebody can get a garbage dumpster. And they'd have to pay for that themselves.
And he told me that. He said some people have asked for dumpsters to be out to their farm place, and then you would set up a time for them to come and
Are you
pick it
talking
up,
about a 5-yard or a 96 gallon?
whatever size you would need.
Because I see like along the highway, there's people that are
Mhm.
utilizing a 96
Because
gallon.
they can't burn, so then they have that, and it's a mix of
So-
everything.
So like the ones along Highway 9 near Thompson, they pick it up on Wednesdays when they go to Thompson. So we can pick it.
There's also a business out of Lakota that does rural garbage.
See, now we're getting into that point of, I think there's protected areas as far as, Forest City is in the North Iowa landfill part of it. Everything else in the
Have
county
to take it
is
to a certain,
done. I don't know, Buffalo Center might go to Burt, which
Center
goes to,
Buffalo Center goes to Burt, which goes to Lake Mills.
so it's in that.
It gets
in
more
that
miles
region.
on it before it gets to the same place.
Yeah.
I do like the recycling pickup if they come when they're supposed to. If it's on the schedule, we take it down there, we know it's
But
gone.
is it worth $66,000 the first year and up 4% after that?
No, I think we
The
try to
other
figure
ones,
something
the other one
Well,
would be,
more feasible for the county.
there would be a pickup at every county, maintenance
So
shop.
if we have it at the shop down here, you could do it on your way to work at the shop down here.
But how much other stuff are you
He
gonna
would
get in
be-
there? Because Hancock County tried that, and they
The other
just,
Clear Lake's been
possibility
having
would
trouble with
be
that, too.
if we
Yeah, people
coordinate
aren't
with
gonna
the
go
city
by
of
the
Leland
rules.
or something.
unfortunately.
cameras.
To have one there.
Yeah. There's quite a gap between here.
Which
like
space
now.
are you talking about?
Somewhere in Leland, coordinate with the city or
Oh.
something. But they have their own. We don't pay for their recycling, so.
Leland
there
has their
again,
own?
Cleveland's not a part of ours.
I don't think so.
The other thing would be eventually we could maybe do it at the, possibly the nature center, the education.
Oh, they love that.
So is it a question that you could ask Waste Management why they're increasing their,
Oh, we know a lot. They can't get rid of the stuff and their cost of operations, they can't hire anybody.
You know,
okay,
I mean, and that's the way it is with everybody, trying to hire employees.
now we know.
Well,
in order
it's,
to get decent,
And this guy's a one-man operation probably that
I feel like
was cost for 4 years.
personally for me, when I have a full recycling thing, I like taking it myself because I take it straight to Waste Management, to their recycling. I think that's handier because then I don't have this gigantic
So
thing.
what do you take it in? Do you have the smaller bins or just in your
Just garbage bags.
bags? Do
Yep.
they take it that way?
You
So
you put it in their
plastic
recycling
bags.
thing.
You put it in plastic bags
Mhm.
and you put the bag in.
Put the bag
You're not
in.
supposed to do that.
That's how they have it set up at
No,
Waste
you're not supposed
Management.
to put any plastic bags in recycling. It says right on the sheet you get from Waste Management, no plastic bags.
well, they're not gonna pick them up with that truck, but if you're taking them to their facility.
No, I'm saying you don't want plastic bags in the recycling.
Right, but
That's a
maybe
no-no.
they open them. I don't know what they do with, I don't know where they take that
You should
recycling.
be going there if they have a place they put them.
Well, since they're putting them all in the landfill anyway, it
I
doesn't,
know, but in the
Matter.
past, when it was actually recycling, you're not supposed to put plastic bags in the recycling.
And that's
That's
probably
the
where it's
rules.
all going is right to the landfill,
You know,
unfortunately.
you should be
You
doing
know,
it
I'm
in
afraid
paper
of-
bags.
Well, the metal part of
afraid
it has a market.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
So we have some questions to ask. You know, is this really recycled that this gentleman
well,
takes?
well, one is less convenient, yet cheaper, and the other one is more expensive, but more convenient in the sense that you only gotta take it to the end of your driveway. You don't have to throw it in the, sometimes that recycling can get kinda empty, you know, if you don't clean everything out.
So do we kick it back to the people with the proposals to tell us whether this is actually being recycled? Make a decision from there.
Well, I mean, they can make a phone call, or we can make a phone call, and we can just call Waste Management and say, where is our recycling going?
Have people say where it's going.
Yeah,
So the guy that told me he was on his way to Mason, where do they take it in Mason
Well, I
City?
talked to somebody that runs a garbage truck for Fort City, and he says he sees them down there with their recycling and dumping it at the landfill.
The landfill.
So we certainly don't want to be paying for recycling if it's gonna be going out with the trash. And neither should Forest City or any other town
Just go
be
with
paying
garbage,
for
yeah.
that.
So, as much as I hate to say it, why pay for something that's not getting done? We can save $48,000 or $66,000 a year.
We have to pay for our EMS coordinator.
There you go.
And it just feels like people are being duped.
And I'm not a environmentalist
I don't like
whack or
that.
nothing, but I do believe in recycling as much as we can as far as,
Oh, I'm in economic development, I'd like to see us be able to utilize recycling to make new products, you know?
And that's what we've trained our kids to do,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody's been trained to recycle.
And you know how a lot of people just put their pop cans and their beer bottles and everything in recycling. You know that a lot of that is, you know, not getting cashed in on and not being recycled.
especially, I mean, when you take glass and metal especially, they just seem like they're so reusable. Plastic, you know, not so much, because you can't use recycled stuff to make any kind of a food grade jug, but you can use it to make herbicide jugs. I mean, I think they use all recycled, some places do for that.
Jason used to work at a glass factory, and he said the best glass comes from recycled glass. So you'd think that
Well, you don't have to make it out of sand, you know, if you're making it from scratch, you gotta haul out of sand.
Mhm.
Which it just doesn't seem like you should be able to make lots out of sand, but that's the way it's done, I think.
So this basically goes through Chris, right, in your office? Or,
She just does the, and she,
She's the liaison.
yes,
She makes some
So,
of the phone calls.
can
for us.
she find out before next week? Just,
I think they should come here and talk to you guys.
that'd be ideal. Can we invite them?
Which, man, good.
This guy, I think he should come in and,
I got Scott's number, you can call him and ask him where it goes.
Absolutely. That's what we need to know.
That's what you wanna know.
You bet. This meeting went too long.
Oh,
You know, and it wouldn't be so bad to haul it to the end of your driveway if we were back to those nice little round containers.
The blue ones?
Well, we had yellow ones.
Oh,
And the lid snapped shut. And you were able to, for like myself or anybody that had to haul down the driveway, you could put it in the trunk of your car, haul it down, or easily walk it down.
these other ones are so
These
huge.
big things are,
But you know, there are two sizes to those big green ones too. You can request a smaller size too.
I did not know that. Okay,
Because the big ones were just taking up too much room in my garage.
yeah.
And I don't like them sitting
Hey, Scott,
outside
this Bill
because they
Jensen, how
look
are you?
terrible.
Mhm. And the other thing.
well, not too bad. I'm here at our supervisor meeting,
You
we're
know, there's no
discussing
way
our
of managing
recycling.
it, so the wind will take.
Uh,
Terry's got a solution
Where-
to that. We'll ask
Where
him.
do you haul it to?
How do you do yours, Carla? Do we have four city pickup for, or
Okay,
is it all mixed? Four city, we have garbage bags and recycle bags. Recycle, we have yellow.
they don't get the rural stuff, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, Bert doesn't. Yeah,
That's why I know it's, that makes my
yeah,
I was over that way the other day,
you're all right,
they were buying more land,
okay?
more farmland, because they have to expand, their buildings so huge. And the poor people that live there are getting nothing but garbage in the fields, so they're frustrated.
Yeah, no, do you have any idea whether this stuff is really being recycled or not? It is out of Mason City?
So there must be a recycle.
Oh, they make insulation right there. Yeah.
Not at all.
Julie, the back end of my truck right now is full of people's recycling.
Yeah.
I tipped over on it Rice Lake because they haven't been there for, don't have recycling is back.
Going around picking all up. I know. And if you drive out in the country, you won't see it now because of the snow, but earlier,
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't even get clear out to the
because
CRT.
it's
I wasn't gonna walk through all of that.
through the grapevine
You
that.
never know what you're gonna find out there,
anything
but
is,
we tried to
waste
get as much as
management
we
into
could.
it is, ending up in the landfill.
Some people just said they're done with it. They were just gonna let it go, let it fly. And we don't want that either.
We don't want that.
So what's your solution, Terry,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fix these bins so they don't tip over at the end of the driveway?
Well, I don't know
It's
about
ended up
tipping
in the
over.
garbage, we,
Mine, I
then
put
we just as well have
patches
garbage and
tape on
oversight.
the lid, just enough to hold
And,
it shut in the
but
wind.
if it's actually getting
And it doesn't go
recycled,
open,
then,
and when
then
you get the pressure, when you dump it,
worth
pops
the
open.
investment.
I don't put a lot of patches
Yeah.
on tape on the bottom.
You're saying where
Just
you
enough to hold it.
Who would have ever thought of that?
Just a, kind of a catch type.
Okay,
thing.
that
Just
was
long enough to
our
hold
main
it shut.
question, I guess, because,
It doesn't take
that,
much
you know, like I
strong
say,
wind.
if it's all
It's got
going
to have a
to the
little, so it doesn't
landfill,
want to get under it.
you know, I hate to work out the job.
Because
but,
where we sit, unfortunately, we have a hill. And I have a hill on this side and a hill over here. So we catch from
Oh, I get a lot of wind on the highway there too.
Yeah, no,
From the trees.
it's like a.
And we always
I'm a
will-
wacko, but I believe
So
that.
Joe told me,
Yes,
he
too,
said,
so it's
don't bother
I'm
bringing it to the end of the
always been a
driveway.
supporter of
If you
recycling. It
park
just
it
makes
right
sense.
by this shed, we'll, and we get permission from you, we'll drive up into your yard and we'll dump it.
Yeah,
There you go. As long as you can see it from
Just
the
makes a
road,
pile.
that it's sitting out.
Yeah, give them permission to come
yeah,
up there.
well,
and
if I
dump
was
it.
running one of the
I thought,
landfills, I'd
hey,
have a great.
I hope
big
you're on
one
the
there,
next route, Joe.
and everything that goes through there, then you have a power plant.
But that's not their job either, you know, to be coming up there and,
No, but helpful.
Is that right?
and she's got a decent enough way for them to get in
Yeah.
and out where our place they would get stuck. There. Just coming out of the garage this morning, I was,
Going around,
yeah,
Is that
because
right?
it's just icy.
Well, that's interesting.
my circle drive is very steep.
All right, well,
So
that
I would do a
gives me the
little-
information I need to know. All right, thank you. Bye. The city of Ames takes all their garbage and burns it. They power half of Ames with burned garbage. I've always said that they should be doing that out there. I've been saying it for years. Evidently it works.
Ames has quite this, yeah.
Where he takes it to Mason City, they actually recycle it. He says they make blown insulation out of the paper, evidently right there.
Yeah, I know there was a place there before.
Yeah, and
What about the
plastics, they, metal, I know there's a scrapyard
Yeah.
not too far from there. So it sounds like all of it's getting recycled
So,
there, so
In his process, he's already pre-sorted it when he picks it up.
yeah. And he, yeah, when he picks it up, yeah, he's, well, his, it'll have to be different when they have to drop places, because he's gonna
Yeah.
do dumpsters, but, right now, he's got a trailer that has bins in it, and paper goes here, plastic and, metal go here, and, let's see, plastic and metal.
I don't think I want
I think it's just paper and plastic and metal would be the same thing. Paper has to be kept separate, paper and cardboard.
So do they have different colored garbage bags for different things? That would be more than,
No, I just take I don't even use my recycling one because I usually forget to take it down for a couple of weeks, so I've got a big on wheels, garbage can that I fill, and I've got all my glass, plastic, and, metal are all in that. And in paper, I just put it in cardboard boxes and close the box up and set it out
So
there.
will people be expected to sort that at those sites?
They all have to be the
No.
sorters.
Evidently, they sort it there because they are separating the plastic, the
In
glass,
Mason.
and the metal in Mason City, evidently.
Oh,
So
I
it
thought
does
you-
not have to be sorted to
Because
take
our,
it.
when he dumps my thing in, it's got the glass, the plastic, and the metal in it, he dumps it all into one spot.
Okay,
yeah, the metal's easy to sort.
Yeah, metal,
Yeah.
plastic and, you know.
Plastic's lighter, so they blow that.
Yeah, glass,
So it's just-
glass and the metal
So
would
it's
be
cardboard
heavier.
and paper in one and plastic, metal and glass in another. So
yeah.
it's two,
So there would be, at each place, there would be two dumpsters, the way it is currently set up now. One for the other three and one for paper and cardboard.
Well, that's what we do now. I mean, that's not hard.
well, that's all right.
Well, they found when they switched where you could put them all together, the other three, that the recycling went up. I remember that, discussing that with waste management before. But,
So we have,
and he also has heard that, waste management is going to the landfill. So, you know, they're not here to defend themselves on it, and we give them a chance to say.
well,
that's
number
not
one,
happening.
they're way higher.
Well, yeah, no, I had the right, but there's also the convenience of having it at the end of the driveway.
Is it? When they
Well, I
pick it up?
don't know.
so that's
I don't
my
like going into
question
the ditch,
too, is,
picking up
you
what
know,
blew away.
Well, no, like
you
I said
think
before, I
it's-
can't believe they don't have better latches.
But
to the
even on a
tanks.
day where they did show up, there's those days that it blows open and blows all over the place.
I
And
can't
would,
understand
you
why
know,
they don't have a latch where you just. it
residents
blows over.
might love it, being able to take their smaller bags whenever they go to town. That, personally, that's what I like to do, but, you know, what everybody else wants to do, I'm not sure, so
So
which
there's-
is more
The
convenient,
other thing is,
actually.
there's probably
If
gonna
somebody
be
doesn't have a pickup, they don't wanna put it in the trunk of their car, 'cause sometimes if you didn't clean it properly, it gets kinda icky.
both.
Well, you're supposed to.
You figure out a way to, you know, you can lay plastic down or a box down in the back of your car, or carry it in those smaller containers that we have.
So this contract wouldn't start for another 4 to 6 months, so you might as well just plan on July 1st, right?
Mhm.
So then in the meantime, we wouldn't have anything, because or we do a continuing contract.
Well, right now, we don't have a contract right now and they're picking up, so I don't know what.
But we haven't paid that part of it yet.
If they find out that we're gonna go away
We
from
haven't
it,
had
they
a
may
contract
quit.
for, a signed
And they're still
contract.
picking up.
Yeah, of course, the
Sort
other
of.
thing,
Yeah.
I mean, I personally know him, so maybe I've got a little conflict of interest, but I would much rather see somebody from locally making money out of that.
I think we've lost control with the other system.
It's just gotten so.
For me, it's about the
This is
true
double the price of what I
recycling, and it
remember just
truly
a
is
few
being
years ago.
recycled.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
wasn't
going
that
up.
long ago, it was 20-some thousand, if I remember right.
So we need to,
28 to 32.
Yeah, so I'm on the upper 20s as well.
It seems like one of the first contracts went from 28 to 32, and then it went up from there at
Substantially.
every increase just multiplied. And this one's for 4 years at the same price.
yep,
Well, what's our thoughts then? We just act on this and call and make up a contract for July 1st? And then just kind
what
of
is
not
gonna
do anything
be,
on the other part of it?
So what is this, what are you talking about, like having 2 dumpsters at county sites?
Yeah.
And then you just travel, are you gonna be assigned to a dumpster?
You're,
No, you
County
can
site,
take
you
it
can go
to
anywhere.
anyone you want.
yeah, if you're on your way to Buffalo Center, you
can bring
stop
them
in Thompson or
here.
Buffalo Center.
you
you're
could bring
out.
a small bag
Dump it
every
here.
week here from your place, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's really convenient, but what kind of kickback or what kind of feedback are we gonna have from people when all of a sudden they're,
Not getting picked up at the end of the driveway.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens with all of those existing dumpsters?
I still think we need to have a conversation with Waste Management before we make any decision.
I think so
No,
too.
I would
I'd like to actually have them here,
represent
it'd be nice.
themselves here at least. And because there are maybe, I mean, you like taking it, and there are other people that might just wish they could take it to the end of the driveways.
Just about everybody that takes it to the end of the driveway has been pretty frustrated lately.
Well, I'm guessing that if we was to go out and take a poll right now, it would not look good.
I know of one person just west of town here that has 4 of them. You know, they count on 4 of them every month.
Yeah.
And I suppose the size of your families, you'll have more.
Well, there's just 2 of them.
Oh, golly. It's kind of like my garbage at my house, when all the kids were home and, there was diapers and stuff like that. It was nothing. 4, 5, 6 garbage bags a week. Now with them all gone to college, I'm down to hardly make 1 garbage bag a week.
Well, do we want to table this till next week and invite Waste Management to come in?
But you know what? We did pay for those dumpsters because we paid for them.
Yeah, we did. I feel like the people
Oh, so
can keep
people
them
can
and
keep
use them
them?
however they see
Yeah.
fit.
So,
Make a good garbage can.
That's what I'm gonna do. Already up.
Yeah, there you go.
My second one's already started.
Yeah, I wish I had one of them. They're more heavy duty than the ones I got.
I'd like to replace my garbage can uptown with the one I've got, the recycling I got at home.
Unless they want to buy them back
They
from
keep
us.
beating up those garbage cans uptown, the way they dump them, breaking off the lids.
All right, well, I think that was a lot of good discussion. Thanks for making that phone
So are
call.
we gonna invite Waste Management in to
okay.
put it on the
do
agenda, and
discussion with waste management.
if they need to call in, if no one can come, then just give them the number to call in if they can't be here.
So a discussion with waste management on current recycling
Yeah,
and their proposal,
Yes.
and then action afterwards on what we did for recycling.
May as well put action on it. Yeah.
Well, not on the same subject.
No,
next
but
subject.
the next, yeah. All right. Discussion with, oh, we've already done 9. Open forum.
there's 2 places to sign. Okay.
Right, not that name. Aaliyah. Is that Aaliyah?
I think so. The last name's Weber. I got that one.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that clarification.
Page out on this, when they put it on, no, it's not on the last page.
What?
Just trying to keep us on our toes.
Oh, Bill, you're jumping the gun on the chairman part of it.
No, I didn't sign in that spot, did I? I did, look at that.
So one more
Yeah, I
ad
know,
for
I had
the
to sign in the
position
middle.
open, huh?
It's all right.
Look at this age.
That's okay, you were talking.
Well, I was so, I'm like, well, where do you stamp this one?
I wrote
Yep.
chairman behind my name, so we're good to go.
We're just playing musical chairs.
Oh my gosh. So she retired again?
Yep.
That was
What? What is going on?
missed.
What are you guys talking about?
That was
Oh,
So I suppose, instead of, on, like, on number 9, better identify best option for county residents for recycling.
Oh, yeah, maybe I could put that.
Otherwise, the county attorney might look at it going,
What are you trying to say, Carla? Yep.
any more open forum?
I
Have
think
we been sending any bills to, like non-compliant zoning? Where is that at? Or how long did we
says?
give them again? For the $50 a day?
a while yet. It was not till January.
Wasn't until January? Okay.
Yeah, that's the date for compliance.
Yeah. Matt would be taking care of that.
Well, if there isn't anything more for open forum, I'll need a motion to approve the county claims.
I have a motion by Derby and seconded by Jensel to approve the county claims. All in favor? Aye. Passed. We are adjourned.
so what was the musical chairs things?
I was just saying that Ally retired.